Welcome to EduCasts, home of EduCasters. We cannot simply blame the students for this shift. Motivation is not purely internal. It is context-dependent. A student might be mastery-oriented in art class, but performance-avoidant in calculus. This is where the classroom goal structure comes into play. Teachers have the power to shape the motivational climate of the room. Researchers Joyce Epstein and Carol Ames developed the Target framework to help teachers re-engineer their classrooms to support mastery goals. It is a blueprint for moving the needle from proving to improving. 1. Task T. The problem: wrote repetitive worksheets that require zero critical thinking and have only one right answer. This encourages checking boxes. The fix: design tasks that are inherently interesting and varied. Use project-based learning, PBL, where the outcome isn't just a grade, but a real-world product. Give students tasks with low floors and high ceilings, accessible to everyone, but challenging enough for the advanced learners. When a task is meaningful, the grade becomes secondary. The fix: design tasks that are inherently interesting and varied. Use project-based learning, PBL, where the outcome isn't just a grade, but a real-world product. Give students tasks with low floors and high ceilings, accessible to everyone, but challenging enough for the advanced learners. When the task is meaningful, the grade becomes secondary. 2. Authority. A. The problem: the teacher is a dictator. Students are passive receptacles of information. Do this because I said so. A fix: share the power. Give students autonomy. Let them choose how they demonstrate their learning. You can write an essay, record a podcast, or build a diorama to explain the theme. When students feel in the driver's seat, intrinsic motivation skyrockets. 3. Recognition. R. The problem: public honor rolls, Student of the Month awards based on grades, and praise that focuses on intelligence. You're so smart. This reinforces the idea that ability is fixed and only the top 1% matter. The fix: make recognition private and focused on growth. Praise the process, not the person. I noticed you revised your thesis statement 3 times. That persistence really paid off. This reinforces the idea that effort, not innate talent, leads to success. 4. Grouping G. The problem: rigid ability grouping, the bluebirds versus the crows, that shames struggling students and makes advanced students risk-averse. The fix: use flexible, heterogeneous grouping. Mix students of different abilities and assign roles that require collaboration. When students have to teach each other, they learn the material twice as well, the protege effect. And they learn to value peers as resources rather than rivals. 5. Evaluation. E. The problem: grading on a curve. This is the ultimate performance goal generator, because it guarantees that for one student to succeed, another must fail. It forces students to root against each other. The fix: use criterion-referenced grading. Students are competing against a standard, not each other. Implement standards-based grading, where grades reflect mastery of specific skills. I can analyze a metaphor, rather than a generic average of homework and quizzes. Allow retakes to reinforce the idea that learning takes time. 6. Time. The problem: rigid deadlines and timed tests. Speed is conflated with intelligence. If you don't finish in 50 minutes, you are deemed slow. The fix: flex time. Acknowledge that different students learn at different speeds. If the goal is mastery, it shouldn't matter when the student learns it, as long as they learn it. For decades, AGT was criticized for being weird, Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic. In the individualistic United States, the distinction between learning for yourself, mastery, and beating others, performance, is stark. We tend to view the desire to outperform others as fundamentally at odds with deep learning. We celebrate the rugged individualist who learns for the sake of learning. However, when researchers began studying collectivist cultures, particularly in East Asia, China, Japan, Korea, they found something that bucked the trend. This phenomenon is often called the paradox of the Chinese learner. In many Asian contexts, students report very high performance goals. They care deeply about rankings and exams. By Western standards, these students should be anxious surface learners. Yet, they often exhibit deep, meaning-oriented learning strategies. Why? In collectivist cultures, the self is not an island. Achievement is not just about individual ego. It is about social responsibility and filial piety. A student might want to get the highest grade, performance approach, to honor their parents and fulfill their duty to the family. This socially oriented achievement motivation buffers the negative side effects of competition. The goal is performance, but the reason is communal, which seems to protect the student from the anxiety and shallowness seen in Western performance-oriented students. This serves as a crucial reminder to American educators: do not assume a competitive student is a shallow student. Their drive might be rooted in a deep sense of family obligation that can be leveraged for deep learning. Cultural context changes the very definition of success. We must address the elephant in the room, the link between goal orientation and ethics. The pressure to perform doesn't just change how students learn, it changes how they behave morally. Research has consistently found a positive correlation between performance goals and academic dishonesty. If the goal is to learn mastery, cheating is illogical. It robs you of the experience. It's like cheating on a push-up. You're only cheating yourself out of the muscle. But if the goal is the grade, performance, cheating is a rational economic decision. It is a shortcut to the desired outcome. In a system obsessed with high-stakes testing, we have inadvertently created an environment that incentivizes cheating. When we tell students that their entire future hinges on an SAT score or a GPA, we push them into a performance avoidance mindset where the fear of failure overrides their moral compass. They aren't cheating because they are bad kids. They are cheating because they are terrified. Anxiety is the twin sibling of cheating in this dynamic. Performance avoidance goals are essentially anxiety engines. The constant vigilance required to protect one's ego, scanning the room, comparing scores, hiding mistakes, is exhausting. It leads to burnout. We see this in the gifted kid phenomenon. Students who coasted on being smart in elementary school often crumble in high school when they hit their first real challenge. Because they never developed mastery habits, struggle, iteration, failure. They view their first F not as a data point, but as an identity crisis. As we move deeper into the 21st century, AGT is evolving to address new frontiers, particularly in technology. Gamification is a hot topic. Done right, games are pure mastery environments. In a video game like Celeste or Elden Ring, you fail, you respawn, and you try again. Failure is part of the loop. It is expected. Educators are trying to harness this game logic to make classrooms more resilient to failure. However, poorly implemented gamification, like public leaderboards in math apps, can backfire, reintroducing performance pressures that kill the joy of learning. AI and personalized learning also offer promise. AI tutors can provide private, judgment-free feedback, potentially reducing the performance anxiety of asking a human teacher for help. And AI doesn't roll its eyes when you ask the same question 3 times. This could be a game changer for fostering mastery goals in students who are typically too embarrassed to engage in class. So what is a teacher to do on a Monday morning? We can't dismantle the entire grading system overnight, but we can make micro adjustments that have macro effects. 1. Reframe the syllabus. Instead of listing point values, list learning objectives. Frame the course as a journey of skill acquisition, not a treasure hunt for points. 2. Exam wrappers. After a test, don't just hand it back and move on. Have students complete a reflection. What study strategies did I use? Which ones worked? What will I do differently next time? This forces a mastery perspective on a performance event. 3. The not yet grade. If a student fails a standard, grade it as not yet. Allow them to revise and resubmit. Show them that the grade is not a final judgment, but a snapshot of where they are right now. 4. Normalize struggle. Teachers should model their own ignorance. Say things like, "I don't know the answer to that. Let's figure it out together." Show students that smart people aren't people who know everything. They are people who know how to find out. 5. Praise effort and strategy. Ditch the "you're so smart." Replace it with "you stuck with that problem even when it got tough." Achievement goal theory is more than just a psychological construct. It is a mirror reflecting the values of our educational system. For too long, we have built a system that values proving over improving. We have created a pressure cooker that produces students who are good at taking tests but bad at learning. The shift to a mastery-oriented approach is not just about better pedagogy, it is a moral imperative. We need to equip students with the resilience to face a rapidly changing world. We need to teach them that failure is not fatal, that effort is the engine of success, and that the ultimate goal of education is not a number on a transcript, but the expansion of the human mind. By tweaking the dials of our classroom structures, task, authority recognition, grouping, evaluation, and time, we can create environments where Elena's curiosity is the norm, not the exception. We can help Marcus realize that his peers are not his enemies, and that the only person he needs to be better than is the person he was yesterday. In doing so, we don't just make them better students. We make them healthier, happier, and more capable human beings.